I'm going to show you an apartment that had been rented since 2019, and unfortunately the tenants decided not to pay rent during the pandemic. And after several months dealing with the county court, paying a fee to the court, we finally have an official notice for a lockout done by a county sheriff's officer, giving me access to the apartment for a very long time. So what we're about to do is to show the contents of the apartment, personal effects, as well as damages. So if there's anything that the tenants will state, what happened in this apartment, they have lots of boxes of items to be removed. This is the front door that leads to a living room. I've asked the tenants many times to pay the rent. They did not want to pay the rent. I asked the tenants to move themselves from the premises. They told me they would move September year 2020. Right now, we're in September year 2022. So what they did also was they decided to vacate in March 2021. They never gave keys to the apartment. And they allowed their son to stay in the apartment from that time forward. This is a foyer that leads to storage closets, to a master bedroom. The Superior Court Sheriff had to open this door. It was locked. So the son would stay here in another room. Just relax. Enjoy life. Wouldn't worry about anything in reference to paying rent, because technically his mother and father were here. So many times it was disturbing to have the son here because he was partying, him and his buddy, partying, him and his girlfriend, drinking, smoking, loud music. It's all good. It took so long for this lockout to occur. Initially, in November or October of 2020 is when an order was placed with the court for non-payment of rent. And sadly, during the pandemic in the state of New Jersey, we were not allowed to have any court process go forward until the moratorium would end. And that moratorium ended in the year 2021 in July. I used to have a shower head, but it seems that they placed their own shower head and they decided to be spiteful and just decide to take their shower head. How much is a shower head? Maybe it's $20. Maybe theirs was $50. But that's bad. That's how people are. They used to come in through the window. Here's the screen. One of them did not have the keys to the house, and he would come in when he wanted to at night. He would be seen. So all this stuff that they left behind has no value to me. I need United States dollars to pay the taxes of the house, the water of the house, the repairs, the loans, even the heating cost. Sure, you could put their items in storage if you like, but then what a waste of time. Sure, we could take a couple of little items and use it for yourself or give it to somebody, but at this point, how old is this stuff? Now, the electricity was being paid for by the tenant. They stopped paying the electricity in January 2022. And as the court continued, then they put electricity back to show that they lived here, probably to get some kind of energy plan. Now, this room had to be opened as well. Okay. Now, the officer, he just damaged my molding, but he had to get in. There's a fee that you have to pay. So a fee was paid to initiate the actual court process. Then a warrant of removal was done. And you had to pay for that. So I believe the first one was $67. The second one was $42. And then after a judgment was in my favor, the tenant decided, no, I need to stay here. I have probable cause. And we had to stop a lockout after I paid $42. So the warrant of removal was stopped, had to go back to court, and the tenant requested another 60 days because did not have shelter. And I indicated that 60 days is not valid. The reason why, because I told them I submitted evidence that they lived somewhere else. And they did. They had an official record in another county that they lived. At another location with a lease, and they too have not paid rent at that location. They were going through eviction. So a coincidence occurred. The day they went to court, they were told they needed 30 days there. And then they asked to stay here. So they were going to technically come back to this apartment, not paying rent, when they get evicted from another apartment. So the amount of things that are here are logical that they didn't decide to move because they figured they would come here. Nowadays, people are scammers, and they try every bit to squeeze a poor person like me. I gave them an apartment, $1,500 a month. They paid from September 2019 all the way till February 2020, and they failed to pay after that. There was a leak in one of the radiators on the second floor. That leak allowed water to come down. As you can see, the sheetrock had been saturated with water. I sent a text message to the tenant. I said, listen, I need to get into your apartment. There's a leak. And the lady said to me, no, the leak is not in my apartment. As you can see, I don't know yet until I start to record all the personal effects on video. And then I can start moving some of these and see how much damage is here on this floor. But you see that there. Luckily it did not fall, but there was water damage. You can see there's runs carefully where the water would leak, because in the basement, the water was also down there. So from second floor to first floor, look, see? No, there's no leak in my apartment. There was a leak. They didn't allow me to get in here. They could have. The leak happened the end of January 2022. That's the back door at the end of the apartment. Now we go into the kitchen.